Hello everyone, welcome to Zero Labs. Today is Saturday, July 5th, 2014, and today we will be conducting the heavier than air HHO combustible gas experiment that has been asked for of me by Moray King and many others, some of which are in my regular Ustream nerd herd. So, as I started to say, this is the experiment that has been asked for quite some time by Moray King. I've resurrected my VSPB HHO cell. There are a couple of minor leaks in it that I will have to repair before I use it. And I've also dug out of cold storage one of my constant current pulse width modulators. I'll be setting it to someplace between 15 and 20 amps so that the cell itself does not go into thermal runaway. And I will be allowing the gases to exit the top of the VSPB cell and empty into a small neck bottle to collect what people have claimed is a heavier than air gas that will not dissipate the way hydrogen does. So we'll give it a try. I've done this once before. I did it in a slightly different fashion the last time using my bat cell with the most efficient mode of operation possible. Now we'll be going brute force and hitting this cell pretty hard, hopefully putting it into a state of cavitation, which Moray calls this the cavitation gas. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so the experiment is underway. Time right now is about 10 minutes to 4 p.m. Eastern Time on July 5th. You can see the constant current pulse width modulator in the foreground. In the background is the VSPB cell. I'm running it at about 10 amps. Any higher than that, and the contact terminals at the top get pretty hot. I can only run it higher than 10 amps for short bursts without worrying about the metal straps inside overheating. You can see that gas is evolving. I've already tested the gas for its viability through a little pool of water in that container in the back. And it's just emptying into that empty vodka bottle with a piece of coat hanger in the end of the pipe to hold it straight so that it sits straight in the bottom of the jar. If I allow the pipe to curl against the side of the plastic jar, you can see very clearly condensation forming on the side of the jar. So obviously there is steam being generated, the very high moisture content coming out of this, and I don't know if this is the electrically charged water gas that people claim is heavier than air, but in the end, once I've allowed this to run for several hours, I'm going to slowly take the pipe out without disturbing the contents and allow it to sit for maybe 15-20 minutes just to be sure that the hydrogen has vented completely out of the bottle, and I will ignite it with an electric spark inside the jar to see if we get any kind of ignition inside the bottle after the hydrogen has vented off. So that's the experiment. It's underway, and we'll have the results for you soon. Okay, the experiment has been running now for close to 45 minutes. And I'm producing at least 1 liter per minute And the bottle is only 1.75 liters. So I have filled this bottle many times over the last 45 minutes with hydrogen gas. And if this mystery gas does exist, then I'm sure I have collected enough of it to ignite. So what I want to do is I just want to go over with you briefly what I'm witnessing here with the experiment. You can see there's quite a bit of condensation that has accumulated on the inside of the bottle. In fact, it almost looks cloudy inside. There is that much moisture content. You can also see that same moisture content in the hose leading up to. See if I can get it to focus. Come on. There we go. So now you can see the moisture content in the tube itself. Quite a bit, right? And there have actually been some dripping down the side here. There's enough of it has accumulated on the sidewalls. The cell is running right now. The foam has to seem to subside a little bit since the temperature has gone up. The cell temperature right now (130 degrees Fahrenheit), and I'm a little concerned about my terminals at the top here. Almost too hot to touch, 150 degrees. So I'm getting ready to shut the cell down. The current that I'm showing being drawn, a little over 10 amps on my Astron VSPB, a little bit over 14 volts. And that time is not quite right. That's a little bit fast. So anyway, I'm going to shut the experiment down now and allow the bottle to sit undisturbed for about 15 minutes. And once the bottle is undisturbed for about 15 minutes on the bench, I'm going to take the cap and I'm going to cap it off, and I'm going to bring the bottle outside. All right, I'm out behind the workshop right now. I've got the bottle capped off from inside. It was sitting open for about 15 minutes, and I want to do this outside. I've got earplugs in. I'm going to record this outside using my igniter that I've made. Okay, this is just a replacement electrostatic igniter for a gas grill and some speaker wire. And I'll let you see the spark here once I get it to focus. So you get a good idea what kind of spark I've got. Unfortunately, it's quite breezy out here right now, so I need to wait for the wind to calm down just a little bit. And actually, it looks like it did just now. So I'm going to zoom in on the bottle. And if I get anything at all, I will repeat this experiment tonight in full darkness. Okay, here we go. This is it. Holy smokes! That just went off. That just blew this wire right out the neck of the bottle. Let me do it again. No, it's completely exhausted now. Yes, folks, we will be doing this experiment again tonight to see what this flame looks like. Okay, so you can see that I have the electrolyzer set up again with the collection bottle. Earlier today, we tried the experiment out behind the shed. What happened was I took and allowed the bottle to fill for 45 minutes and to bleed off as it was filling, and hopefully collecting this heavier, unknown heavier than air gas. After generating the hydrogen gas for about 45 minutes, I stopped the electrolyzer, pulled the tube out of the neck of the bottle, and allowed it to sit for 15 full minutes before capping it off with this cap. Being overly cautious, I brought this out behind the workshop and set it up in the least windy location I could find, but it was quite breezy today and I had to wait for a good opportunity to set it off. I ignited it with my homemade igniter that I demonstrated earlier, and instead of making a bang, or instead of doing nothing, it kind of went off almost like lighter fluid would go off in a bottle. It made a poof, and it pushed the igniter wire right out of the neck of the bottle, which was kind of interesting, and you'll probably be able to see that on the earlier recording. So we're going to do the experiment again. I'm going to let it run for maybe not as long, I don't know, because well, yeah, I'll let it run for as long. We'll do it the same. So I'm going to let it run for 45 minutes at 10 amps, and we'll be back in a little while to ignite it in complete darkness and see what it looks like. Okay, this is round 2. It has been 45 minutes since I started the production of the HHO gas. I'm going to shut it off now. You'll see the foam will start to settle in the cell. The cell has finished off at 121 degrees, pretty close to last time. And I'm going to very carefully extract the tube, creating as little air turbulence as I can, like so, and swing it out of the way. So now we're going to wait another 15 minutes with the lid off of the bottle, like that. Lighter than air hydrogen will all rise out. In fact, it's probably already all out, but I'm going to wait 15 minutes just to prove a point, which is the same point that I was proving last time. And then we will ignite it, see what happens. I have the camera set to 60 frames a second interlaced, and manual focus. So hopefully we'll get a good look at what the flame looks like when we set it off in darkness. Okay, so it's go time. I'm going to shut the lights off, turn my monitors off, and actually that might be dim enough right there. This way you have an idea of where the bottle is. That actually looks pretty good. I'm gonna leave it just like that with the monitors on. So I've got my igniter in hand. I'm gonna remove the cap, and this is it. On 3, 2, ah, try again. Put a weight on this wire. On 3, 2, 1. So whatever gas was in there was still in there. And again, it blew my wire right out of the top of the neck of the bottle. I don't know if you guys saw a flash at all. Anything? The only flash I saw was the arc of the igniter. Okay, so folks saw a blue flash. Guess what? It's not hydrogen. So that's it. There's our mystery gas. If anyone would like to donate laboratory services, I'd be happy to collect this gas and send you off a sample to stick it in a gas chromatograph and tell me what it is. So today is Sunday, July 6th, 2014. It's about quarter to noon. 15 minutes until noon Eastern Time. After last night's experiments, it looks as though we may be faced with some latent hydrogen gas remaining in the bottle. So what I'm going to try today is zoom in here. I'm going to try putting the gas into a glass beaker with a piece of paper to keep the air currents from affecting what's inside, and then allowing the gases to vent rather than trying to escape through a small neck bottle. If we do indeed have heavier than air gas, then what will happen is the gas will remain settled in here, and we will be able to ignite it the same way we did in the bottle. However, I don't think that's going to happen, and this should be the proof of it. So I'll run the generator for 45 minutes, take the paper off, let it sit for 15 minutes, and then try to ignite it, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I'm having a little difficulty with the wireless mic here in the workshop, so I've decided to use the microphone on the camcorder instead. In the foreground here, you can see I'm getting ready for a couple more pops out in the outside the workshop. But I've shut down the cell and going to just slowly extract the tube. From the beaker, and then remove the piece of paper and be very still. There are no fans running here except for the computers, so hopefully the air is still enough. And just doing that. I'm going to leave the top of the beaker open for 15 minutes and then try to ignite and see if there's anything inside. Okay, it's been 15 minutes since I've been allowing the beaker to vent. And it is now time to test for any heavier than air gas. So I'm going to zoom in. Drape this wire over the back of the hydrogen cell. Like that. And here we go. On 3, 2, 1. Nothing. As expected. Nope. No gas. Sorry. Myth busted. So, as some of my earlier attempts at this experiment indicated, it does look as though there is no heavier than air gas that is collecting in the container. I allowed the generator to run for 45 minutes. I allowed the top of the beaker to vent for 15 minutes, and then I attempted to ignite what remains, and nothing remained. When using a bottle such as this with a small neck on the top, there does remain some latent hydrogen, or HHO, trapped in the bottle, and even after 15 minutes of venting with the neck of the bottle pointed vertical, there is still some latent hydrogen, enough to create a small poof. But and I also found out that if I only wait 5 minutes, it doesn't make a poof, it makes a bang, which made my ears ring for quite a bit. So I'm afraid this myth is busted. To those of you who really wanted this heavier than air gas to exist, I'm very sorry. It doesn't. That's it. Thank you all for watching. As always, please rate, share, comment, and subscribe. And peace. Alright, so I just ignited a bottle of HHO. This is the first time I've ever seen this happen. Rather than explode, the bottle itself was so strong it imploded. Alright, it's holding a vacuum and it's quite warm to the touch. I can actually reuse this bottle. Watch this. Let me take the wrapper off of it. There's a vacuum in here. A really tight vacuum. Look how tightly that's sealed. So I'm going to loosen up the cap. Oh wow. The heat of reaction actually almost looks like it melted it. Let me see if I can blow some air into this. This is interesting. I took the cap off. It's still flat as a pancake. I'm going to try some compressed air. Alright, we're going to try this again. In 3, 2, 1. Did it again. Look at that. That is so cool. Check it out. Did it again. This time you saw it in real time. That's wild. I've never seen it do that before. What does that mean? Means I need to add some inert gas so that it expands rather than contracts. That is too much. That is too much. At least I got some satisfaction out of this one.